Hannan. I'm declaring myself fit for the derby. I thought it was going to be out. I've been in bed, I've been sick, I've been smashing the lem sip since the post-match pint. But now I've recovered, I'm all right. I'm going to make it. So yeah, I'm ready. Can we have a replay of, you know, like Pickford and Origi? Can we just do that again? Listen, last night, I don't know about you, but like I was sitting there, you know, and I remembered that it was the FA Cup draw, and I thought, it's on the telly somewhere, isn't it? And I find it, Tony Adams is waffling on and all the rest of it, and I was a bit like, I was just thinking what I thought about the FA Cup as the balls were being jangled. Okay. And I just thought, I'm not that arsed this year. I mean, I just want to win the league. It's been too long, you know what I mean? It's just all about winning the league, isn't it? We've got to get it done. All these missed opportunities in the past, the 30-year thing, all that bollocks, the fact that we've got the big lead right now. And then out comes Liverpool v Everton again. Get in! Honestly, it was like, I was just like I'm obviously in like WhatsApp groups with like Blues. One of my best mates is a Blue, I've mentioned him before. And I just always think of what his face must be like and his. And I just think he would have been there with his remote, watching the draw and just being like, I don't know he was because he put it in the WhatsApp group and just being like, oh, fuck.
It would have been one of them where it's just like,
I mean, do you know what though? Like I've obviously had since then to think about it. From our perspective, I totally understand. I see some people saying like, oh, it's going to get in the way. You know, like now we're going to have to field a strong team and we've got loads of games and loads of competitions and all that. Listen, I get that. And like you've seen how Klopp's treated it in the past, rightly. It's not Klopp's fault that they have to play so many games. That's why he complains about it. That's why he makes it an issue. That's why he says all the managers and all the football should come together and sort it out. And they don't. And so when they don't sort it out, and when there are so many games, you've got to prioritise. And therefore the league is the priority. So when it comes to the FA Cup, I think what will happen is he'll play a weakened side, if you like. But it'll be a bit of a mix, you know what I mean? It'll be like what we had against Arsenal in the League Cup. Everton, meanwhile, will obviously go full strength because they've got to try and win the FA Cup, they've got to try and win the League Cup, they're fucking nowhere in the league, they're nearly going down. And I just think, from our perspective, the player that's just sort of loomed large in my mind's eye, I just thought, imagine we play that derby in the FA Cup and Curtis Jones scores a last-minute winner.
All right, the Reds, what a win that was then.
who was that?
That was Curtis Jones, have you not seen it? No. Oh, it's boss. There's a little clip of him after the Arsenal game. Someone's handed him a phone and he's on the like official Liverpool Instagram account. And he's just like striding down the tunnel like that. And he goes, all right, the Reds, what a win that was then.
I think he's great. Did you see him telling Harvey Elliott off?
Yeah,
he's like, shut the fuck. Shut the fuck up. I was about to say, we can't swear in this. We can. Shut the fuck up. And I was like, yes. And then he sort of like taps his captain's armband, doesn't he?
It was about who was on the pens, wasn't it? Yeah. But then he put something on his Insta after that, saying that I love him, bro, and all that.
Yeah,
but, like, he's got something about him. You know what I mean?
Like people like making a thing of that. By the way, like. If you've ever played in a footy team, you play with your mates and you fucking scream at them the whole time. You tell them off if they don't, and then afterwards it's all forgotten about. It's just a game of football. I'd forgotten about the FA Cup draw last night, and I love sitting down and watching the draw. I think there's just something that it reminds me of being a kid and sort of, just getting dead excited about every football game, but there's something more exciting about when it's not a fixture list that you know it's going to happen. It's like, oh, we've got this team, we've got that team. So I love that. And I'd forgotten about it, and then I went onto Twitter and I saw Everton's tweet first of all, and I'm like, I thought it was about Wednesday, and I'm like, hold on, I could have did a knee slide in my front room at that stage. I was like, yeah, it's get in. I'm made up with it, and it's another exciting game, which is what we're in it for. It's another big game at Anfield. I'd said last night that I'd play full strength because I don't want to give Everton a sniff of even getting anything at Anfield. Especially don't want to replay. Although that's another big game to look forward to, but instead of in terms of the players' legs and all of that, I don't want to replay. And for Klopp's sanity, really, because he doesn't like any more football matches than he already has to play. When I look at what sort of team I'd want to play in that game, I'm looking at Alisson, Van Dijk, and at least two of the front three. After that, throw in a Shaqiri, throw in a Kate, I'd give them a go. Maybe a Curtis Jones, but wanna go strongish, if not the full 11. I think you'll sort of we'll know better near the time, because we'll have had Sheffield United a few days earlier, although that's a home game. So could he play about with rotation? He's going to rotate throughout December anyway. So what's full strength and what isn't will change by the time that comes around, because there'll be injury suspensions, there'll be other players in form.
I'd be surprised if he goes full strength though. I mean, it's such a great opportunity to win the league, and we don't know where we'll be then, of course, but we're talking now, and that's what we're doing. And that I don't get why people are fucking obsessed about, oh, don't jinx things and all that. Fuck it, just talk about the footy. It's sound, it's all right, and that's what we're doing. I think I'd be surprised if he went as strong as you said, though, even though we're looking way into the future. Just because you look at what he played at, say, Wolves and things like that. No, I know. I think, I get what you're saying about the derby, but I actually think it's almost good for both teams in a way. So what I mean by that is, Everton might look at it and say, well, fucking hell, this is an opportunity to find.
I'd be made up, like, and maybe
you wouldn't if you're an Everton.
No, but in
20 years you've been coming to Anfield and you've never
that's
saw them
because
win.
They've got Evertonians mindset. But like me as a football fan, if I was thinking, right, what is our best chance at beating Liverpool at Anfield? It's going to be a cup game in the third round of the FA Cup, because, like you say, if we're going to rotate or we're going to, bring someone like Curtis Jones in, well, if I'm an Evertonian, I'm thinking play full strength and hopefully we can get something, even if it is bringing them back to Goodison, because that's something at least for them. But it's got me even more excited about Wednesday now, because I'm like, we can properly hurt them twice within a month. We can beat them in the league and go 9 points clear or 11 or whatever it'll be, and then we can put them out of a cup and it'll be another year.
But we'll see, because it's the derby, and I know like we've had a great record against them, but I'll always slightly temper all this talk when I just think we played badly against them quite a few times, in this long run we've had.
And recently, like
it's not everyone has been the ball. You hardly touch the ball. There's been lots of. What a bit shitty, yeah. Even the Origi one, like they actually played quite well in that derby. And for the first derby for a long time, I was actually watching it thinking, they're doing all right. They haven't bottled it. They're not doing an Everton thing. And then they did the Everton thing at the end. The brief flair, the Origi, the keeper, the bar.
Even the FA Cup game where we were at the end, it's going to be a dog of the game. There's no way that Liverpool stroll in here, or I just don't think Everton will allow it, and Everton will try and bring us down to their level, which is what they should do. So I think it will be a dog of a game. It's just this Liverpool side are finding ways to win football games that they either have no right to, given the circumstances, or that there just shouldn't be enough time to do it, and they're finding ways. And so, I'd love this to be the game though that it sort of, I know I hate the word clicks, but like it's the one where we just win 3-0. It'd be just a lovely evening. Nice. I just don't see it being that way.
And the clean sheet chat and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, whatever happens, we have got some of the best players in the world. That is evidenced once again by what happened last night. You've probably seen by now. Obviously, Big Virg did not win the Ballon d'Or, and Lionel Messi, consistently one of the best players in the world, did. I'm not distraught about this situation at all. I expected it to go that way, and I thought it was quite nice when you just saw when they started listing, and there's so many of our players in the top 10, the top 20, and all the rest of it, and you just think, sound. Lionel Messi is obviously good. Him and the rest of his team got absolutely bossed at Anfield last season, and we went on and won the European Cup. Sound, and it would have been nice for Big Virg, but I think Big Virg can cope with it. Do you know what I mean? He'll be all right, and when he's lifting the Premier League trophy at the end of the season, he's not going to remember for a second about the Ballon d'Or, and neither are you, and neither am I, and neither are you.
No, the odds are stacked against him anyway with being a defender. I think it makes it even. I think if Virgil van Dijk's doing at the level that he has been, but he's an attacking player, and he's it gives him a far better chance. I think 3.5 years ago, I remember us doing a podcast just before Jurgen Klopp came in, and I was asking how many world-class players we had in the squad, and the general sort of opinion was that Coutinho wasn't far off, but he wasn't world-class at that stage, and that we actually didn't have any. and you look at how far we've come under Jurgen Klopp, and these footballers that, someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold that we're bringing through, that I think ends 16th or something. He ends up being the best fullback in the world, pretty much. Van Dijk, the Salahs, Mane should have been higher, realistically. And I think he will be next season when everyone, begins to realise once Liverpool have won the league and Sadio Mane's absolutely, driven us to that, I think people will start to realise just how good he is and the calibre of player he is and the quality that he's shown over the past year especially. I'm so surprised he wasn't higher. But yeah, you're right. I think, you asked Virgil van Dijk after that Barcelona game in May, what one would you rather? Would you rather be going to the Champions League final, put Messi out, or would you rather win the Ballon d'Or and Ballon d'Or and again?
Balloon d'Or. A balloon with a bit of perfume on.
Yes.
Get in! He's done it again.
I said it. Yeah. Which one would you rather if you're a big Virg?
The Balloon d'Or.
You'd rather number 6 and not the Ballon d'Or.
Listen, it is incredible times to be a Red, and we should all be getting really excited about the Merseyside derby, which is, of course, tomorrow night. There is a preview show for that. There will be preview podcasts as well, written stuff on the site. But here's a little clip of the preview show.
There's no logical suggestion that you can make that Everton can come to Anfield and win, because nobody comes to Anfield and wins, and let alone Everton, who are playing as poorly or getting as poor results as they are. I think it's the fans' fear, isn't it? It's just the theological fans' fear that something will go wrong. I mean, you could say that probably Liverpool might have got that out the way on Saturday with the red card for the goalkeeper. That's something that could have shifted the balance in Everton's favour. They've played okay at Anfield, but I think they've always reached a certain point where they've confronted the idea that we could win here, and then I think they've stepped back away from it. And you think back to, even away from Anfield, you think of Wembley in the 2012 FA Cup semi, where they really will never get a better chance to have inflicted a major blow, and I think they were paralysed a little bit in the last half an hour by the idea that they might be able to do it. I think last season they played well in the first half. Second half they didn't have the same will to take a risk. I personally don't think they can afford to take too many risks. I don't think they can afford to get beaten 3-4-0 on Wednesday night. So I think you'll see a team that's set up with the idea of being compact, hopefully in their case scoring the first goal and then seeing what they can do to protect that. And we've seen that teams do score at Anfield this season. Everyone who's been has scored, including Arsenal twice. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that they could have a decent hour or a decent 70 minutes, but I think over the 90 minutes you've just got to look at Liverpool and their ability to get the job done. And I don't think even the most hardened Evertonian could make a case that they're going over there with the idea of winning. I think that, as Chloe says, a draw will be absolutely perfect for them.
Any balloons there? That is the preview show. If you fancy watching the full thing, or indeed you fancy getting stuck into a bit more Anfield app stuff, just download the app. It's on Android, it's on Apple, and if you download it and you don't subscribe, you get some free tokens and you can basically have a go at some of the premium shows, see if it's for you, and if it is for you, please do subscribe and keep us all going and all that kind of thing. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about on today's Talking Reds is I woke up this morning, having a look through the media as you do, went on Twitter, all that kind of stuff, and I was really surprised to see an interview with Tom Hicks talking about Liverpool Football Club, and I just thought, who gives a shit about what this fella's got to say now in 2019? He's gone, he's long gone, and he's still trying to paint this picture as though he's somehow hard done to, and it's just like, Tom, gibbet lad, Alan Myers, gibbet, no one's asked, why is there a story on Sky? And so he's just there trying to throw everyone under the bus as usual. He wants to throw Gillette under the bus, and frankly, you're fucking welcome to do that. Parry tries to throw him under the bus. He goes on about, why Liverpool's successful now, because they finally got a good manager. Yeah, Rafa won the European Cup, mate. Whether you like it or not, Rafa won the European Cup, mate. And all this stuff about it, as though they had some grand plan that would have worked, when actually, and there was it was people on social media, he said, fucking hell, lad. I mean, honestly, it's all documented. There's been books written, there's been documentaries made. We all know, we all lived it, we all went through it. You cannot rewrite history now, Tom. It's done, it's dusted, you're gone, you're dust. And we've got owners that actually seem to give a bit of a fuck about the club now. Owners that have led us alongside the manager and this team to a European Cup, to challenging for league titles. And Josh has written something for the website, by the way, about maybe, FSG deserve a little bit more credit. People were really quick in the past to get stuck into them, to get stuck into us for not talking about them. And Josh has written a bit of a piece saying, well, we always did anyway, and here we are talking about them again when no one's really talking about them now, because such is the sort of life of a football fan. When you're up and it's great and it's sound, everyone just cracks on, don't they? And then as soon as there's something to moan about, then everyone's out with the the boards and the pitchforks and whatever. But yeah, Tom Hicks, I mean, who's asked about Tom Hicks?
It's not exactly a slow news week, is it?
No.
Either. It's not exactly as if you're like scratching around trying to think of people to interview and things to talk about around Liverpool at the minute. There's games every 3 days. You just saw what happened last night at the Ballon d'Or award ceremony. And there's a Merseyside derby coming up on Wednesday. We've just been drawn against Everton in the FA Cup. I don't get the. I think in terms of FSG, it feels like we're probably a bit more wary of them because of what Hicks and Gillette did to the club, and maybe it's taken a little bit of time. And obviously they've got things wrong throughout their tenure, but it feels like everything's right at the club at the moment. And I've always loved the you don't talk about FSG thing, because if you just search FSG, the Anfield Wrap, we've done shows, we've done podcasts, videos, we've written about it at length, and with varying varying thoughts around it, dependent on the time that we've documented it, because there is like it's not a black and white thing, this.
No.
And
we've got
football
stuck
ownership isn't
and
a
also
black
they've
and white
learned
thing.
along the way.
Yeah.
They've made mistakes. There's been times where they haven't done enough, and even now, there'll be bits and bobs that they get wrong. There's still a situation around the tickets which is not ideal, but I also think it's really hard to solve. And you're allowed to say both. You're allowed to say the ticket situation is frustrating, and you're also allowed to say the ticket situation is really hard to solve. You're allowed to say we should build a bigger stadium. You're allowed to say it's probably quite hard to do so. Like Tom Hicks is still going on about Stanley Park. Well, lad, you never built it. You know what I mean? You spent shitloads of money on some nice drawings, and you sat in front of a fire and showed them on Sky Sports. That doesn't count, mate. Nothing happened. There was no spade in the ground. That was why there were protests. That's why we were all on social media. That's why Spirits of Shankly set up and did their level best to get you out. And quite why, Sky. I think it's worthy of time now. I really, really don't know. As you say, there's loads of stuff to be talking about. There's loads of stuff to be getting stuck into. If you want something as a recommended read, if you just, you're watching this and go, oh, okay, well, I'll go and have a go at that. Have a go of the piece with Pep Linders in the Guardian yesterday. Nice fella, great coach, knows what he's talking about, and it's a really interesting read. And what I thought was interesting about that interesting read was I lashed it up on Twitter and just said, have a read of this, it's great. And someone replied and said, I love it. But they said they always read these things and think, no, don't give Everton away. And I get what they're saying, but I also think it's really, really hard what they've done. And they've absolutely nailed the culture. And he talks about it, saying you've got all these leaders right all the way through the team. That works in training, that works when they're on the pitch, it works in general. It's not like they're going around having to whip people into shape. Everyone's in shape anyway. They push each other. And to achieve that culture in any workplace is really, really hard. And no one's going to be able to just read a Guardian article and go, I'll go and box
ding,
that
ding,
now.
ding, ding.
They're like Silver at Everton going, all right, sound, okay. Well, what we need to do is start being sound with everyone.
And it takes time as well, and it takes having the right personnel, and it takes having the right leaders in the team first of all, or bringing the right leaders in. I think we actually should do a podcast or some sort of special around that, because I'm fascinated by Liverpool's in particular, but obviously we've had Damien Hughes on in the past and done podcasts. Search them. I think they're free, possibly. They're free. Yeah, so just search the Anfield Wrap, Damien Hughes. He talks about sports psychology and about leadership within football, and some of the books of his are brilliant. But I'm fascinated by this and what Klopp and his team, because often it is Klopp, but Klopp's the figurehead of the movement almost, isn't he? But then he needs the likes of, Linders just below him, and then from there we talk in the past, and Damien Hughes has about the cultural architects and these players that instill this culture while Klopp's there, but even when he's not there, these are the players that are sort of keeping everyone in line and ensuring that no one strays away from the values. And We should just do a podcast on it, actually.
Yeah,
Get Pep Linders on. Cause
that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? If you fancy a Pep, we know you watch.
Not if it's past 12 minutes, though. He's not watching a minute.
Right,
We're on 13 minutes. He's not watching.
You stay till the end this time, mate, and you fancy it. But, you know, what we've just said there, just to sum up and finish up, is one of the reasons, genuinely, why I think Liverpool will beat Everton on Wednesday, because everyone's just in a better place psychologically. Everyone knows what they're doing, everyone knows where they're at, they know how good they are, they know what a chance they've got to win the league. Everton, on the other hand, look, you know, joking aside, and obviously I get stuck into them all the time, like, they've got some good players, and the manager's done some good stuff at previous points in his career, but it's just not right now. It's just not clicking, the culture's not right. You got Ken Wright still kicking around, no one seems to really know why he pulls any strings these days. You know what I mean? It's just not right, the structure's not right, the culture's not right, the mentality's not right, and I think you saw that against Leicester, in that they played well up to a point, but to concede when they do, and you could almost see the panic building, you could see that they didn't back themselves to see it out. Leicester were the other side of that. Leicester did back themselves.
Culture. That's all culture. The late goals that Liverpool score isn't lucky Liverpool, because they're continually doing it. It's having the mentality. Like, Jurgen Klopp often cites mentality monsters. That's him reaffirming the fact that this culture has been instilled and it's in full effect, and all of the opposition teams should know about it. That, you know, if it is 1-1 and it's the 81st minute, 82nd minute, Liverpool are going to be playing until the very last minute. It's the same with when he spoke to us about leaving too early. That was right at the beginning of his reign. That was him trying to instill a culture, and Liverpool are reaping the benefits both on and off the pitch. You see that with all the stuff that LFC TV does as well, don't you? Where the players, everyone's talking about how brilliant all the players are as footballers, but as people as well, and that's something that's been instilled since Klopp came in.
That's got me up for the day. I hope it's worked for you. Shall we go and have a pint? Come on, we're gonna beat them. We're gonna do the Blues. Fuck this. That's been sorted out.